And now, beaming to you live from LUL 522X Busland Film Studios, it's the Complainerman Hour with your host, Roger Meegoude. Good evening. I'm Roger Meegoude, and welcome to the Complainerman Hour, which is, in actuality, only 30 minutes long, so the show should be called the Complainerman Half Hour, but that just sounds cheap. What are we about here? Well, news, current affairs, arts and culture, interviews, and whatever other surprises we can cram into our tiny 30-minute time slot. Our guests tonight include those musical rascals, Three Guys in a Bus, our international magic correspondent, Anthony Demasi, reporting from Melbourne, Australia, and a very unique and adventurous audio ensemble from Switzerland that call themselves the Sport Horses and the Guggenheim Box. We will also be giving away a copy of David Cassel's new double album, The Yin and Yang of All Things. To win your free copy, all you need to do is listen to all of the segments in this show. Somewhere, you will hear the name of one of David Cassel's favorite music groups that is based somewhere in the Antipodean region of the world. Put the name of that band in the comments window and the country they come from. The first correct answer shall be crowned winner, receive a download code, and some other digital goodies. And now, here to discuss current affairs is Richard Furbrains at the news desk. Over to you, Richard. Thank you, Roger. Hello, I'm Richard Furbrains, but my friends call me Dick. Welcome to Hot News Shots. This is the segment of the show where I bring you the news from my point of view. This should be interesting. This guy's a nut. And now to tonight's story. Should I stay or should I go? A big debate in the past week has been whether or not people should stay home to stop the spread of COVID-19 or go to the streets to protest police brutality and, specifically, but not limited to, its use against people of color since before the dawn of American history. Through the Black Lives Matters movement that is sweeping the world, citizens are now asking themselves which one of these two challenges confronting humanity is the greater threat. People in cities from Melbourne, Australia to Berlin, Germany gathered in huge numbers to rally behind the global backlash to the ongoing militarization of the police force. Where possible, protesters did try to recognize social distance. Other times it became obvious that this was simply not going to work. 2020 has presented us with all sorts of challenges, from COVID-19 and murder hornets to the closing of the economy, job loss, self-isolation, psychological and existential entropy, more police on the streets, the destruction of everything we know to be normal, and a general lack of absorbent toilet paper, which I personally missed quite a bit when, well, never mind. The world has become an all-you-can-eat salad bar of destruction that just keeps forcing you to fill up your plate even though you don't have any room left and stuff is spilling off the edges. Eat the mini corn. But I don't want to eat the mini corn. Eat the mini corns. In response to the arrest of Derek Chauvin, the Minneapolis police officer responsible for kneeling on the neck of and killing George Floyd, 57 officers of the Minneapolis riot squad resigned, leaving a huge job vacancy. This has made space available for new police officers who aren't so excited to murder a citizen under the pretext of being scared. Actions like these lead the way to allowing citizens to reform the police department by defunding them. Now, I know at first that idea sounds ridiculous. You can't abolish the police. No police means crime and anarchy and burning buildings, rascals running loose in the city, rioting and pillaging people in the streets. No! Defunding does not mean abolishing the police. It simply means giving law enforcement less money, like 10% less. Take away their "we've got to have that tank" money, or their fashion budget. Please take off those silly-looking stormtrooper uniforms. You look like a Playmobil figurine. Can you believe that's actually a toy for sale? Give that 10% to some other departments and programs. Social ones would be good, to help people feel better about their lives so that they don't feel like they have to go to the street and protest for better lives. It seems so simple, but you can be certain that the wheels of bureaucracy will be set into motion soon, and it will become a quagmire of, oh, but what about this and what about that? There are other solutions. My friend Scott Neary, the producer of the Booby Trap variety show in Los Angeles, put forward a most interesting solution in a Facebook post recently. He said we should restructure the police to operate like Uber. Scott said, Well, Uber taxis can be called to deploy people that can help you instantly by being really close by, having the size of vehicle you need, and suggesting someone who's right for the job. Mr. Neary suggests that the Uber police could operate in a similar fashion. If the police force was modified, different employees could have different specialities like superpowers, but more esoteric. We could set up an automated system that would deploy these people immediately and exactly to the jobs that are right for them in the moment. Only some would have to be ready to kill. That's a plus. And there would be different kinds of experts available for every situation. Sometimes they wouldn't have to dress in black. They could be sent out in colorful clothes, bright, colorful, to win hearts and minds, and not have to carry around 30 pounds of militarized riot equipment. You could Uber a cop with university degrees in social sciences capable of assessing and de-escalating difficult multicultural situations. Uber cops trained to handle pretty much every situation. Everybody could be Uber cop. Need a job? Out of work? Become an Uber cop. Hello, Uber police. I need an officer experienced in dealing with that guy who's not wearing his mask. Or you could send a chat message on your phone to the dedicated police chat room. Dear Uber cops, it's cold. I'm scared. It's dark. GPS coordinates attached. Send help. Cop shows up with incense and some herbal tea, wearing meditation robes and a badge. Because let's face it, the coolest part about being a cop is having the badge that you can black out your name and number on later. The other choice is to stay at home and only go out when you need to go shopping. Which brings me to social distancing. Even though many of us have decided to stay home, we have to go to the supermarket. We have all been told to social distance by keeping up to 2 meters away from each other. Some supermarkets demand that you take a shopping trolley to provide yourself with a moving physical barricade that you can use, to ram other suspected infected people, I guess, should things get nasty on the market floor. Of course, this idea is completely undone by the fact that when you pay by card, which everyone should do to avoid that grubby money that everyone has touched and passed around, you have to enter a PIN code on the keypad. By touching the keypad, you have essentially touched every person who has passed through the shop before you. Instead of money getting passed around, we have become so efficient that we have centralized the distribution point for the virus. Honestly, who's coming up with these rules? Stay 2 meters away, but then stand in line, rub your nose, and touch this pad on your way out. Everybody! Boop, 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 boop. It has been an action-adventure kind of year that should be eligible for an Academy Award or whichever award you can get from a place that's not shrouded in controversy these days. And we're only halfway through the year. Ooh, what's gonna happen next? Please, take me to the exit. I'm Richard Furbrains, and I just want to get off this ride. Back to you, Roger. And thank you, Dick. On my travels recently, I happened upon an unusual act that has invented a rather unique musical instrument. What you are about to see does not use conventional instruments, but instead light sensors inside of a large frame structure that are wired to electronic sound generators. To play the Guggenheim box, one must use their entire body, and preferably that of several more. I present to you now, all the way from Switzerland, the sport horses and the Guggenheim box.
Quantize your thoughts. Quantize your friends. Quantize your love alive. Live perfectly quantized. And all so beautiful and perfect. How do you manage your life-work balance so perfectly? Are you part of Job and Joy program? Wow, look at your yard. Isn't the grass cut beautifully? This must be the work of garden robot Weedy. Now let's have a look at your PP personal performance. No, your time is up. We are quantized now. Modify, modify. We are dancing tight. Modify, modify. I'd rather have a ship in my head than a chip in my ass. I'd rather go and bounce over hills and fly on for days. Quantize your steps. Quantize your thoughts. Quantize your friends. Quantize your love alive. They're perfectly quantized. Now, scream.
Ah, the sport horses and the Guggenheim box. Quite an audiovisual delight. I have with me now Jonas Guggenheim, the wunderkind behind the Guggenheim box. Good evening, Jonas.
Good evening, Roger.
Now, I suppose you called the instrument the Guggenheim box because your last name is Guggenheim and it is shaped like a box. Now, would that be correct?
That's correct. It's called after my name because it was my idea to build that box. But actually, I built it with a group, with a bunch of people, and it was an amazing teamwork. And it's a box. Yeah, it looks like a box. It's an open box, like a phone booth or something.
When one hears the name Guggenheim, thoughts flash to the museum of the same name located in New York City, designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. Is your name in any way associated with that institution, or is it just a happy coincidence?
No, I'm related. I'm far away related to Peggy and Solomon Guggenheim and all of the Guggenheims that all origin from the same village in Switzerland, from Lengnau. because Jewish people could, until the end of 19th century, it was the only place where Jews were allowed to settle in Switzerland. And they left to New York from there.
And do you think that because of your name, you might one day play a show at the Guggenheim Museum? Is that a wish of yours?
Who knows if they will see the box and they like it? Yeah, I hope so.
I see. Can you tell me and the viewers what it was that inspired you to create this most fascinating device? It's very fascinating.
It's actually the idea comes from the shop of a friend of mine who's a musician too, and he has this tailor shop with the workshop in the back where he's working. And when you enter the shop, there's a horrible bell. And I always wanted him to have a better sound there. So I thought, oh, this could be an idea to make an instrument, make drum sounds with doors. So the Guggenheim box is more or less 4 doors attached to each other with the drum sound on your foot and one on your hand.
So what you're telling us is the Guggenheim box is really just a very elaborate doorbell.
Yeah, it's actually just a very efficient doorbell. No, not just efficient, a very crazy doorbell. And another door with 20 light barriers, so you can make a lot of sound of all those doors.
Now, I understand that you also operate a small performance space in your hometown. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, please?
Yeah, this is actually my workshop here. And in the back, this is the backstage where we have the artists for dinner. And then we have a little stage with maybe audience from 30 to 70 people. Once a month, there's a gig in our workshop, and it's amazing.
Before the interview, you had told me about a job offer you received recently. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, perhaps?
Yes, I got this amazing offer from Zurich Airport, which invites artists, street artists and musicians to come and play for free on Zurich Airport. They can even sell their CDs, but there's no fee. So the airport just does what many venues do. They tell you it's a great opportunity for you, but you have to work for free. And actually the Swiss airline just got 1.5 billion because of the coronavirus crisis.
So let me get this straight. The airline industry in Switzerland was just subsidized to the tune of $1.5 billion, and the airport came to you asking you if you could do a show at the airport for free, just passing your hat.
Yes, correct.
Well, that's insane. Definitely something to complain about here on the Complainerman show. Yes. And what does the future hold for the sport horses? Technical difficulties, excuse us.
The sport horses are building the Guggenheim Box 3.0. So there's a third version, which contains more sensors, more fun, more modulation on all the sounds, more craziness. And we will be able to take it on a train because we're fed up with driving through Europe for gigs. So next year we will travel by train.
Well, Jonas, it has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. I love your instrument, and I wish you and the sport horses all the best for the future.
Thank you, Roger.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jonas Guggenheim of the Sport Horses and the Guggenheim Box. Magic. The power of apparently influencing events by using mysterious or supernatural forces. Used in a sentence, suddenly, as if by magic, all of the world's problems were over and there was nothing left to complain about except the fact that there was nothing left to complain about. Here now, to solve all of the world's problems through sorcery and witchcraft, and possibly result in the cancellation of this show, is our very own magic correspondent, Anthony Demasi.
Thanks, Roger. The world today is like a big balloon. Every day the problems get bigger and bigger. And it feels like the world is going to explode. All that pressure building up on the inside, waiting to release itself like in a cataclysmic representation of all destruction as we know it. But it is said that when things are destroyed, it makes way for new ideas to grow. Oh look, a dove, symbol of love and peace. Oh, there seems to be a message attached to its leg, and a tracking tag. Let's take a look at this message and see what it says. During difficult times, remember these 4 things. Stand by your friends and they will stand by you. Just because you disagree with someone is no reason to unfriend them. Try not to be mad at grumpy people. You have no idea what their pain might be. And finally, don't read angry. Everybody seems to read angry these days. Sound advice at these changing times. And that's it for me. I'm Anthony Demasi, Magic Correspondent to the Complainer Hour, reporting live from Melbourne, Australia. Over to you, Roger.
Thank you, Anthony.
What's it like to live in a 7-meter bus and produce films and videos? How many people can you fit in that bus? Does its internal volume exceed its external mass? Is it possible to live a sustainable life on the road? What are the pluses? What are the minuses? Later this summer, Busland Film Studios, the producer of this show, will release a series of new videos that will answer those questions and more. Here's a sneak peek at what you can expect to see.
100 things you need to know about living in a bus. In 2017, our family decided to give up our tiny, overpriced 50 square meter, 1-bedroom apartment. We had been living in Vancouver, Canada for 4 years, one of the most expensive cities on the planet. We were spending $27,000 a year just on rent, a car, fuel, and groceries. We had no savings. Then my partner broke her 2 front teeth, and the dentist told us it would cost $15,000 to fix them, and that our free Canadian health insurance, the envy of the world, didn't cover it. My partner was born in Poland. She told me that if we were there, she could get them fixed for 1,200 euros. That's about $1,800 Canadian if we were in Europe. It was going to cost 88% less if we crossed the ocean. So I did some math. $1,800 for dental work, $3,800 for airfares, $1,000 for shipping, $1,000 for food, and $2,000 for rent, for a grand total of $9,600. I figured out that if we left, we would be $5,400 ahead and actually have some savings to do things we really wanted to do. So we packed up our stuff, gave up the apartment, sent some special stuff to Europe, said goodbye to our friends in Canada, then got on a plane and went to Germany to start over.
But Daddy, where are we going to live?
Well, I had a plan. I had a bus parked at a special secret location, sitting for years waiting for us to return and make use of it. I called her LUL 522X Mobile Art Studio. I dusted her off, started her up. Was that? Yeah, huge, and it was huge. Big and huge. She started! Yay! And off we went. We've now been living in the bus for 867 days. It's been 124 weeks of tiny subcompact living, 2 years, 4 months, and 17 days inside of a 14 square meter rolling tin can. It's fun. We love it, but sometimes we hate it.
One of my favorite features of this bus is that door.
This is our story. Follow us here and on Patreon as we navigate a new kind of economy, live small, see new places, and explore sustainable living by questioning every last thing we use. 100 things you need to know about living in a bus.
Ah, well, that's it for this week's show. We will be back in 2 weeks' time while we find a new place to park the studio. If you would like to support Busland Film Studios and see more great videos and programs, please give your regular monthly support by joining up at our Patreon page, patreon.com/the Ukulele Bandito, for as little as €1 a month. Alternatively, you can make larger single donations via PayPal at paypal.me/the Ukulele Bandito. And now, to play us out of this week's show, it's Sid, Simon, and Gus, also known as Three Guys in a Bus, singing their new song, Robots, which just happens to be on David Cassel's new double album, The Yin and Yang of All Things, available at davidcassel.bandcamp.com. Too much information? Well then, rewind this show to get what you need after it finishes. If you've enjoyed this show, please tell your friends. If you didn't, then keep it to yourself, because no one likes a whinger. I'm Roger Meegoude. Good evening.
Okay, guys, we can't do robots because I can't get the costumes out of the car. Now, this is the control center. So, this is my seat. Don't sit in my seat. Ah, there he is. Hey, sorry I'm late. It's really raining out there. Should have worn my boots. Okay, so tonight we're on at 7 o'clock. I think we should run that last one again, see if we can get it right. Are you ready?
Yep.
Hey, can I be in the middle?
No.
But not this time, but we'll talk about it. Save water, save money, you've heard it before. But when you conserve, you can always save more. When you conserve, you win, that's for sure. But it's bigger than that, it helps us endure, oh yeah. The pressure from storms and the floods that come here are more unpredictable every new year. But saving water and power each day reduce greenhouse gases that make it this way. And using less fuel as you're driving around is another great way to help on the ground. Each step you take, you're joined by your friends and your neighbors and family. The help never ends. Awareness is good, action is better. We can make a big difference when we're working together. Energy and water make sense to be saved, and you're the best one, so let's do it today, oh yeah. Okay, yeah, I think we're ready. Let's go. I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, I'm so ready. You have no idea. Let's go. Hey, can we cover a song by Flight of the Conchords?
No.